Warning, we are a spoiler-based podcast. At times, we are also an offensive podcast, and we are most certainly a verbally explicit podcast. So if you fear for any of your delicate sensibilities, please back up now before you reach the point of no return. This is your final warning.
Welcome to another disjointed, confusing, and possibly chaotic episode of Cinematic Anarchy, where we're going to try a little something new today. Joining me for this experiment, I guess we'll call it, Matt and Rachel from the Strange and Beautiful Book Club podcast.
We live here now.
I mean, I've had much worse house guests.
Home away from home.
Home away from home.
Right here. And today we're going to try, as again, like I said, something a little different. I'm tripping on my tongue. It's a little late at night. It's been a long friggin' day. A lot to do at my 9-to-5 job. A lot. That being said, we are going to be pitting two movies that have absolutely nothing to do with each other outside of the late, great Shelley Duvall. Popeye versus The Shining.
Yeah.
What a match.
I will admit, I was watching The Shining, and I was thinking to myself, I really like Shelley Duvall, and I haven't seen her in a lot of other movies, and it would be fun to just kind of discuss some of her films and how they compare to each other and her acting performances in them. And then I started thinking, well, what if we just took The Shining and Popeye, which at the time I had not watched in probably a little more than a decade.
Yeah.
I forgot it was a musical.
Yes.
And we just kind of compared the characters, kind of pit them against each other, see who had better acting performances in those lead roles. Yeah, and so I also might have had a few drinks when I thought of that. So
I was going to ask if this was just your idea or if this was somebody's suggestion.
As a good friend of mine would say, occasionally the best ideas come from a mind that's not necessarily sober.
I agree.
I was not necessarily sober that particular evening, or not
We'll
even
see if
remotely
it was a
sober.
good idea or not.
We will see.
I think it was fun.
So the basic idea here is that we are each going to present a quick synopsis of each of these movies. And then we'll just go right into talking about character versus character. We have sort of a basic list. We can adjust it as we go along if we feel the need. So if you guys would like to start, you can pick which movie you'd like to give a quick synopsis of.
I mean, I'd love to give one of Popeye, but like you, I had not seen it in probably 25 years, I would say.
Okay.
My dad loved Popeye. And
The character in general, maybe.
the character in general, not the movie. Yeah, he liked Popeye the cartoon. So I was familiar with the cartoon. I had not watched the movie in a long time. And it turns out the only section I remembered at all is the ending with the octopus.
That's it?
Yeah. I was like, well, I have seen this. I don't remember any of this. But basically, Popeye shows up. Shenanigans ensue. He gets a baby. He loves the baby. He meets his dad. His dad doesn't want to be his dad. And then his dad does want to be his dad. And him and
then
Bluto...
he doesn't want his dad to be his dad.
Right. And then they go on an epic chase over to an island to find this treasure, which it turns out is cans of spinach and baby books.
Bronze shoes. Bronze shoes.
And bronze shoes. And then Popeye gets force-fed spinach, and then he punches an octopus into the atmosphere, and then that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And a yellow Bluto. Don't forget yellow Bluto.
Yeah, Bluto turns yellow because he's so scared.
He turns chicken.
And then Olive Oil falls in love with him, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, I guess that's a pretty good synopsis. Okay, so I guess I get the Shining, right?
Well, I feel like that's one most people know. If anybody's going to know a movie in this combination, it's going to be The Shining.
Well, my synopsis isn't going to be any better than the Popeye explanation there. Let me tell you. No, I've seen The Shining several times, but it's just sort of, I don't know. Each time I watch it, it feels like I'm watching it for the first time for some reason.
It's not memorable. That's why.
Rachel has feelings about the Shining movie.
Jack Nicholson is certainly memorable.
Yeah.
Like, in a crazy way. Like, the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He had that manic, crazy energy.
Yeah, he was
Definitely.
Jack Nicholson in every movie with different names.
Pretty much. Okay. So, man signs up his family for a trip, or basically for a caretaking job at a remote chalet, let's say, a remote hotel that was the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah, the Overlook.
And basically signs them up to be isolated in a cabin in the winter, or in a hotel in the winter, while he takes on the maintenance and tries to write a book. Even in spite of the warning that some dude went mad long, long ago, and because of the isolation, ended up slaughtering his entire family. He goes, you know what, my family will love it. She loves ghost stories. Let's go up there and do the thing.
It's going to be fine.
It'll be fun. And, the son lies a lot. The son who has The Shining lies a lot throughout the thing. Are you having fun? Yeah, I'm having fun, Dad. Are you sure you're having fun? Yes, I'm sure I'm having fun, Dad. Okay, I'm glad you're having fun. I'm glad we're having fun, Dad. And Danny, of course, meets his shining brother, Scatman Carruthers, Dick Halloran? Nope, Dick Halloran, yes. And, murderous hijinks ensue as he slowly devolves into exactly what the guy warned him of when they went up there. He tries to kill his family, and he tries to kill his family. He succeeds in killing Dick.
Yep.
Then he chases his son out into a maze and loses his son because his son is infinitely smarter than Crazy Jack there. And Jack freezes to death. And the boy and the mother escape. Happy day.
End of story.
Yeah, pretty much. So, one's a love story, another one's not a love story, unless, of course, you go back and you check out the YouTube video that Blunt Bob sent us the other evening, which is basically The Shining, or scenes from The Shining cut together to make it look more like a romantic love story about a child who's in need of a father.
Interesting.
Okay.
I did not see that. I was going to say one of them is Shelley Duvall falling in love with a potentially violent man, and the other movie is Shelley Duvall falling out of love with a violent man.
Either way, it's an attraction to violence.
Yeah, although Popeye is far more moral than Jack Torrance ever is.
Yeah.
But also think about the beginning of Popeye, where she is trying to make justifications for why she actually likes Bluto.
Yeah,
he's
she's
large.
like, well, 'cause he's big. He's large.
He's large.
Oh, there you go. Both of them are about Shelley Duvall falling out of love
with a violent
man.
Exactly.
In one, she escapes with her life. In the other, she escapes with Popeye.
Yeah.
And a baby.
And a baby.
And
a baby.
Potentially Popeye's pappy.
Yeah. Poop Deck Pappy.
Poop Deck Pappy.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. there's some names. Oh, my God.
That's his name.
There are some names in that movie, like, Sweet Pea, of course, Poop Deck Pappy.
The whole oil family.
It was like
Coal
Harold.
Oil,
Nana oil. Castor oil. Coal oil. Let's see. Spike, George, and Slug. The Taxman is fairly normal. There was Harold Hamburger, played by Bill
Wimpy.
Irwin.
Wimpy, the guy who's always eating the hamburger.
Wimpy. That is the only thing that I remembered of Popeye. Strangely. Was Wimpy.
Well, arguably, he's one of the most famous. I'm pretty sure there's a chain in England named Wimpy's, and it's a burger chain.
Yes.
But, like, watching the movie through, I specifically remembered the scenes with Wimpy attached, and not so much the rest of it. So...
I thought I remembered more of it, but when I watched it, it plays like a late 70s film where it's really drawn
A late
out.
70s foreign film that's dubbed really badly.
Badly dubbed, yeah. That's what it felt like. I was like, I don't know what anyone's saying. I don't know what's happening, but it's been happening for 14 hours, and I just... Oh, where's the octopus? I remember there being an octopus because somehow all 80s movies that took place by the ocean had to end with an octopus.
Fair enough. Goonies.
Yeah, the Goonies was supposed to have the octopus.
I think that got cut out, yeah.
It did because it looked too crappy.
Oh, like
but
the
Popeye
octopus from
like,
Popeye didn't?
Yeah,
That
right.
looked
But
like a
but
blow-up
Popeye
toy.
was like, yeah, who gives a shit, man? It's fine. It's just
The Goonies had other stuff to fill in the plot.
yeah, they could have eliminated.
Popeye
it
didn't
fine
really
for
have
now.
anything to replace the octopus.
Right.
No, just a lot of Popeye being Popeye, for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I told Rachel, this is like the Robin Williams role where he is like the least
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
like so subdued as Robin Williams. Like I don't know if they're like coercing him into playing the character.
Well, I think because Popeye's such an established character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you...
Yeah, he probably didn't have a lot of room to ad-lib.
None of the colorized stuff really reminded me of his version of Popeye. It's the black and white version of Popeye that his character reminded me of. So it's the old stuff.
Yeah, like the 1930s.
Because once you started getting a little color into the cartoons, Popeye was a lot more animated and a lot more verbal. Right? He didn't mumble as much as what he said. You know, you got that
Yeah.
I don't know how to talk about that speech impediment that he has.
Let's call it sailor dialect.
Yeah.
It was weird. It's adding like a little bit onto words that it doesn't really.
Yeah.
It doesn't need. I really would have to watch it to get that whole thing. I had that one little thing that I could do where he's like, oh, how embarrassing. You know, that's about as far as I get with that. But the embarrassing.
Yeah.
But I really think that he did a good job portraying like an early like black and white Popeye.
Yeah.
I think the movie could have done a lot better if he tried to portray the more animated version of the character, because I think that would have played a lot to his other strengths as he's a character. He does a lot of impressions.
Well, this would have benefited from being more of an interpretation of Popeye and less of a direct, how do we make it look like Popeye live action? Because even the shoes are large, comically large, pants are like flare at the bottom to make them look like weighted at the foot. And it was just so on the nose that
Shelley Duvall is spot on olive oil.
she is olive oil. Like, perfection. Like, that's olive oil from the cart. Like, even her, like, ooh, when she's running around and making her, like, exclamation noises.
You can't tell me that there wasn't a little inspiration from olive oil in Marge Simpson. Oh. You can't tell me.
The way she
Popeye was
even
around for,
walks
like, 50
upstairs
years.
and things looks exactly like she does in the cartoon.
Yeah.
Or the little twisty-turny thing that she did when she met Popeye out on the dock, kind of tangled herself up.
Yeah.
I think that, she was spot on olive oil. The guy that played Bluto was not bad, but I was hoping for just a little bit more from him.
I feel like he always played a thug. What else does he play in?
He was in a lot of things, but nothing that I've watched, if I'm honest. Paul L. Smith. He was, let's see, The Diamond Peddlers, Carambola, Convoy Buddies, We Are No Angels, Sonny Boy. There's nothing here that I've seen. Return of the Tiger. Red Sonja. I don't remember him in Red Sonja, though.
Red Sonja. That's what I know him from. Thank you.
What does he do in Red Sonja?
I think he's the guy who's watching the little boy. Remember the little boy she meets up with?
Okay.
Vaguely.
Who's like a martial artist. He's like, I'm a prince. And then that guy is like taking care of him.
He also played Dr. Paul Abbott in Haunted Honeymoon, I guess, alongside of Dom DeLuise and Gene Wilder. That is Caged Fury, Eye of the Widow, Gore, They Call Me Schmiel, Desert Kickboxer. He doesn't look like a kickboxer. I guess he was
He's a desert kickboxer. It's different.
He was also in the Jodie Foster, Mel Gibson flick Maverick.
He's the Beast Raban from the 1980s Dune.
Oh!
That's it.
Oh.
Okay. Got it now. He's Raban from the 1984 Dune.
So he's in like 3 seconds of screen time.
Yeah, but it's fine. He eats a cow tongue and he smiles
Fair enough.
Yeah, he hits the vibe.
He hits the vibe, and he gets like a minute with naked Sting, so it's fine.
What would have been naked Sting?
G-string Sting.
Winged G-string Sting?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay,
they're
I'm
using
guessing he
something
was not the
Sting.
one chewing up the scene there.
No.
No, nobody was looking at Paul Smith.
No.
Not at all. Hey, wasn't he Bluto? No, it's like, oh.
Oh, yeah, this is 4 years after he was Bluto. He was Bluto in 1980.
These films both came out in the same year.
Really?
1980. Yep, both films
Wow.
came out in 1980.
Wow.
So it's just a stark difference in performances.
So The Shining had a lot more post-production.
Shelley Duvall had a lot
guessing.
going on.
Yeah.
I've got to check something now. Just for we haven't even gotten into the character versus character portion of this particular episode, but there's something I want to check before we move too much further. Because we have Popeye, we have The Shining. I want to see what the production cost is versus what they brought back in for these films. And I'm causing a little bit of dead air, but we can always edit the silence sound. That's
fine.
good. Me deciding to Google something in the middle of the episode is probably bad form. But
the Oracle.
Research.
so let's see.
Ad hoc
Popeye.
research.
Popeye had an estimated budget of $20 million and ended up grossing just shy of $50 million
Oof.
between the U.S. and Canada. That's actually worldwide, so I guess they only showed it in the U.S. and Canada. So
Like, nobody else wants this. It's fine.
I saw a story today about this guy who had a full-time job, and he was doing this like side thing where he was making a horror movie just on his own, just filming it with his own camera and whatever. And he's like, it'll be all right. He had a budget of $15,000, and it took him a few years to do it.
Okay.
And then Paramount bought it, and it ended up grossing $190 million.
Well, shit. Okay,
And
here's
that was Paranormal Activity.
slight
wow.
surprise here. Looking up the budget for The Shining, almost exactly the same. $19 million, except for box office-wise, they brought in a little less at $47 million.
What?
So Popeye was more successful in the box office than The Shining.
So box office-wise, Popeye made more money.
But Stanley Kubrick.
I would say that this movie, The Shining definitely was more infamous afterwards, but at the time, Popeye was a more recognizable character.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's a good point, yeah.
So, while this one goes on to live in infamy, other people are going, Popeye, what? There was a Popeye movie?
Robin Williams was in a Popeye movie?
I can't say Popeye has aged as well as The Shining, even though my personal feelings about The Shining aside.
No, I would love to see a better interpretation of Popeye made now.
Oh yeah, no, not the Popeye IP. The way they chose to film this, and I guess a lot of Robin Williams' dialogue was unintelligible when they went to review the film, and he had to redub himself.
So he had to mumble a little louder?
Yeah.
He still mumbled. It was still unintelligible without subtitles.
Or even after all that, I still didn't know what he was saying. Like, I can't imagine going to see this in the theaters. I would have been like, what is going on? What is he talking about? And I get it. He's being Popeye, but this is where, like, it worked in a cartoon. It doesn't work on a movie screen.
Right.
And it kind of worked watching it now because of the subtitles.
Yeah.
Without the subtitles, it would have been terrible. Like, terrible.
Yeah. And it still made more money at the box office than The Shining.
I also thought that I might have a little bit of time before actually recording this episode, so I purchased the Blu-ray copy, which has not arrived at my house yet. So, it's like on top of purchasing the Blu-ray copy, I also rented it for $4. So, Pluto didn't provide subtitles.
Oh.
For some reason. So, it has subtitles on certain things, but it did not have subtitles on that. So, it's like, oh, great. So, I'm going to have to go to, like, Vudu or Prime and freaking rent the thing or purchase it so I can get the subtitles.
Yeah, I rented it for sure. Because I tried finding it. It said it was on Freevee. I clicked on it, and it was a 4 hours of Popeye cartoons, but it had the cover art from the movie. And I was like, no. Like about halfway through a cartoon, and I was like, this is probably... Because I know the opening sequence is cartoon. So I was waiting for it to, like, resolve into the movie, and it wasn't. And I was like, I better check.
I turned on the Pluto version, and then I got up to, like, grab popcorn that I had left in the microwave. And as I'm going out to the microwave, I hear in the background Spanish. And apparently there were two different versions of it. There was the Spanish-speaking version and the English-speaking version. They don't have, like, two different audio tracks that you can flip through. It's literally just two different versions of the movie.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, okay, yep, definitely not what I was expecting. All the titles were in Spanish and everything, and it's like, oh, all right, so I have to go find the English version now.
Yeah.
So I had to pop through 3 different versions of the movie before I finally settled on Vudu to get my subtitles.
Nice.
So, yeah. It's like, Robin, you're mumbling way too low for me to understand.
I know. You could understand Shelley, though, so she had that going for her.
I mean,
But
I get it. It kind of is, okay, you got a sailor, he's fresh off the boat, and he's basically muttering and mumbling an internal monologue, but out loud. Just walking through the place, kind of mumbling. Even his first song was mostly him
stream of
mumbling.
consciousness with a pipe in his mouth.
yeah.
Pretty much.
I did like the tax guy. There's a question tax. 10 cents.
That was a nice bit, yeah.
Stuff under the wharf tax.
I liked, what is that
Colin
guy? I
Cody.
liked Oxblood. The boxer.
Yeah.
That he,
Yes.
he just totals in the ring. Yeah, I did like that.
Yeah, he winds up. He does the fist wind up.
The fist wind up,
Yeah.
and he does the pipe spin, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. The
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
probably the best part of the entire movie is when he uses his pipe as a periscope. It's like boop, boop, boop.
I said, that's where his squinty eye is. It's in his pipe.
And he finds that pipe on the ground at the very beginning of the movie, too.
Oh, so
Or
it's
it
not
gets
even
knocked
like
out of his mouth. I know, it happens around the time that he gets hit by a piano, so it's difficult to say.
I think he dropped the pipe as the piano, and then it was sort of a gag. Like he dropped the pipe accidentally after tripping, and then he bends down to get it, and the
Yeah, the piano
swings over
top
his
of him.
head, and then he stands up, and it bumps him in the back, and then he pushes it, and I guess that slight push was hard enough to swing it all the way back up to the guys that dropped it to begin with, and somehow they're all strong enough to full-on catch a damn piano as it comes at him.
It was a different
Sailors.
time.
It's fine, sailors.
Like the freaking piano was crowd surfing.
Well, they
yeah.
eats me spinach.
He was not eating his spinach at that time. He hated spinach.
No, I know he was not.
Even through the whole speech. He's big and strong. Makes you big and strong. That's why we all eat spinach. Why? And you hated your spinach, you little brat. I really got the drag strip going by my house tonight. That's like the 4th car that just buzzed by my house.
It's Thursday night party night over there.
Yeah, downtown Haverhill drag strip. Everybody has to have a loud fucking car out here. And it's like, I'm all for it. If you want to, soup up your car, make it sound loud. If that's what entertains you, fine. But, it's 9 o'clock at night. Could you please stay home? I don't want to hear it. I'm on the main road. Makes me want to go live in the woods.
Yeah.
All right. So we're already talking about Popeye. Let's compare him to Jack Torrance.
Okay.
So we have, obviously, Jack Torrance played by Jack Nicholson. We have Popeye played by Robin Williams. Who do you think put forth a better performance, a more memorable performance?
Oh, that's a really tricky question. Because I don't like Jack Nicholson, and I don't like Jack Nicholson in The Shining, because I like the book The Shining so much. And in the book, the Jack Torrance character is very much like a dad going through hard times, trying to be a better person. And when he takes them to the Outlook, he's using it as a way to, like, defeat his own demons. And that's why the Outlook uses him as like a conduit to try to harm his family, and he actually fights becoming a bad person, as opposed to, I think, the Jack Nicholson character, where never are you ever wondering whether he's going to be the bad guy. He's the bad guy from the minute he walks into the screen. And it's just a slow reveal of how bad is he going to be and when is he going to go bad.
Because Jack Nicholson.
Because it's Jack Nicholson. And I guess Robin Williams was up for that part. I think he would have done a better job.
Ooh.
Like in 1 Hour Photo where he's the bad guy.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, this is back when they had trouble thinking of a comedic actor, somebody who's famous for being a comedic actor, as a serious actor. So many...
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things, is when you take a comedian / comedic actor and get them to commit to a like serious dramatic role.
Playing completely against type.
There was a meme I saw about
Adam Sandler with a beard.
Adam Sandler with a beard. It's like, oh, Adam Sandler has a beard in this movie. That means it's a serious dramatic role.
It's going to be good.
And it's going to be good.
Well, I think Robin Williams disappears into Popeye.
So I would say Robin Williams more accurately portrays the character of the story that he's acting in.
Yeah.
But Jack Nicholson kind of fulfills the Jack Nicholson vibe.
I mean, he's sufficiently terrifying. Like, here's Johnny. Right. That's iconic
and it's supposed to
terrifying.
Be a scary movie.
Right, but do I think he captures who, like, I don't know. I just don't find him as compelling of a character. And it doesn't matter. But I think Robin Williams does a better job being Popeye than Jack Nicholson does being Jack Torrance.
Yeah, although the Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance is more striking because he's being, like, himself. He's being his stereotype.
Okay.
And the Robin Williams as Popeye kind of feels very subdued. And it feels like Robin Williams' weakest role.
Okay,
yeah, it's one of his first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hear one vote for Popeye, one vote for Jack Torrance.
It depends on what you mean by the best.
Well, I mean, look at what Jack Nicholson has to work with. He's in these shots where he's center frame. It's just him. It's very sparse. He's got these long, drawn-out scenes where he doesn't have dialogue. We just get a lot of intense eye contact or intense filmography. And then you have Popeye, who is always working an ensemble cast. He has that huge set that they're always moving through. And he almost never is alone, and he doesn't have any real single lines of dialogue that are not leading into a musical number.
That's true. Yeah, Robin Williams really excels when he can be the center of attention, and he can really command that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really get a chance in Popeye to do that.
I don't think anybody in that movie really got a chance to do that.
Yeah. Just Shelley Duvall. She got a couple
Duvall
moments where she was singing
alone
by
time.
herself, and that was about it.
I think the movie should have been called Olive Oil.
Yeah.
Personally. But that being beside the point, am I wrong to assume that we're falling on two different sides here? Like, you prefer the Popeye performance, you prefer the Jack Torrance performance.
I think that Popeye, he captured Popeye perfectly, so I'm going to go with Popeye.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with, overall, The Shining is a more entertaining movie to watch.
But was it because of him?
Yeah.
I would say mostly it's because of the filmography and the sound production on Popeye made Popeye hard to watch.
Okay.
It wasn't as gripping, whereas...
Yeah, but do you like Jack
The Shining-
Nicholson as an actor?
We're not talking about the movies in general. We're just talking about actor versus performance versus performance.
I like Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance more than I liked Robin Williams as Popeye.
Okay. I lean on the side of Popeye. I agree with Rachel. I think that he took what was that 1940s, like black and white Popeye,
30s, yeah.
30s and 40s, and did that perfectly because there wasn't a lot of verbal. He had a lot of muttering and kind of did his thing. But if you took that version of Popeye and transformed it into a live action color film, Robin Williams was spot on Popeye.
I can intellectually appreciate how well Robin Williams executed on that character, but it was less entertaining for me.
I will be honest, my feelings on Jack Torrance is, well, I don't necessarily object with Jack Nicholson as an actor. I think some of the scenes throughout the film, there were just scenes that he did where he overacted to the point that it kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. And it was more people's reaction, their visceral reactions to him acting like a complete psychopath throughout the rest of the movie that made the movie for me. So it wasn't so much him and his acting performance that I loved. It was more of just everything going on around him and Jack being Jack.
Yeah.
So I lean on the side of Robin Williams doing Popeye. That's
Yeah. Agreed.
Now we have Wendy Torrance versus Olive Oil, which is a much tougher discussion.
Yeah. I think Olive
Oil
Jack
was
Torrance's
having
ass.
a lot more fun than Wendy Torrance.
Oh, she
Well, I
definitely
think
was.
Olive Oil would never have put up with Jack Torrance.
Oh, no. Well,
No.
she would put up with Jack Torrance until something better came along, because that's what she did with Bluto. She was kind of there for Bluto in his brutish
Well, she's
ways.
running away. I mean, she's running away when she meets Popeye and they get the baby. And then she's like, well, I'm a mother now. Guess I better go home. So they take the baby back home. Actually, Popeye says he's the mother.
Right? They
And
just
Olive Oil can
randomly
be the
find
father.
a baby in a basket. No questions. It's, oh, this is mine now. You know?
They're like,
Just-
okay, well, there's a note. So it's fine. Like, I'm just leaving this baby until I clear up my financial obligations. Should take me roughly 25 years. I'll be back to get it then.
just-
They're like, okay, well, I'm the mother now. Popeye says he's the mother, and I guess it's okay. Olive Oil can be the dad. That's when she sings the whole song
I'm
about,
the
like,
mother.
oh, he needs me? He really needs me? That's so nice. I think, I don't know. I've never liked the Wendy character. I do think that Shelley Duvall does a good job with it. Of course, she's actually physically terrified as Shelley Duvall the entire time she's on the set.
Oh, yeah,
Because Stanley Kubrick was such an
traumatized, just-
asshole.
They traumatized
So, of
her the
course-
entire movie.
Yeah, so of course
Yeah.
she's genuinely terrified and looks awful the entire movie. She was actually terrified the entire movie. And I think that you can tell she's having a lot more fun as Olive Oil. And so I enjoy the Olive Oil character a lot more. She's a lot more independent. She's a lot more autonomous as opposed to Wendy, who's much more just like Wendy despite Jack or Wendy with Jack. Not like you would never watch a movie with just Wendy. I'd watch a movie with just Olive Oil.
Okay. Silence
think?
from the other side here.
He's contemplating.
Oh no, I don't know that I have much more to say.
You can just go agreed.
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 Agree. I think we're all.
She's Olive Oil's having more fun.
Yeah.
Is my observation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to agree. Watching Shelley Duvall as Olive Oil is far more entertaining. Outside of, I just did not enjoy her musical number. The
No.
singing. Just,
Rachel noted, it's interesting that they made this a musical and they didn't get people who were good at singing.
I was like, bold choice. Bold choice. No, I think there's singing. Isn't there singing in the cartoon? Because there's the I Eats Me Spinach song, which Dad used to sing all the time.
I think that's like all there is. There's very little singing in the actual cartoon itself. It's just
Okay.
that song. There's maybe
Popeye
one or
has
two
a
other
couple
things.
ditties that he sings
Yeah.
in his mostly monotone, gravelly Popeye voice.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, like
And
what
so-
little tune she might actually hum in the actual cartoon is not really all that different from her performance in the movie. It was just a
Yeah.
little off-putting to hear it coming out of her mouth. It was just like,
I don't think that was Shelley
Can we
Duvall's
move on?
strength. I think she's probably a very talented woman, but I just don't think a musical was maybe like her strength.
no.
What a bold choice. They were like, let's adapt this cartoon that is in no way a musical, but what if it was?
What if we had dialogue that nobody could understand, but then people sang and you could understand them?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And Robin Williams will just sing a song that's like, I am what I am, what I am, what I am.
I am
It's
what
like
I am, what I
dancing
am,
through
what I am, and that's all that I am. It's like, wow.
And Bluto got one. Bluto was actually one of the better. He
I
was
will
one of
agree,
the better
yes.
singers. I was like, Oh, that's really interesting.
For a
All
guy
the
that
songs
spends
felt really repetitive, which I had a hard time listening to.
Yeah.
he spends a lot of the movie just grunting, just
Yeah.
you know.
He eats a cup. He grunts a lot.
I
He
like that
shatters
part.
some windows.
The eating of the cup, I like that. The teacup that he decided
Yeah.
to turn into a chewable or an edible or something.
Yeah.
just
He's mad, so he eats a glass teacup.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
just to be intimidating. All right. Moving on to people that probably shouldn't be pitted against each other. The character of Wimpy versus Dick Halloran.
I think they just sit down and hang out. Isn't Dick the cook? They
Dick's
just
the
make
cook
wimpy
and the other
hamburgers.
character with The Shining in the movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Scatman Carruthers. And Wimpy, that guy, he's been in everything, that guy. Yeah, I'm sitting here saying that guy, and I don't have the information up anymore because I decided to go look up how much these movies made. So now Popeye has
I think
disappeared.
Dick's brief role, he's much more of a character. I think Wimpy was a character in that this whole movie, the whole movie of Popeye, was a love letter to people who love Popeye.
Yes.
And that's why I included all these characters. And so he's in it, and I think he gets his standard jokes that you would have seen in the cartoon, but he's not really a character. Even when he's on
Yeah, he didn't really stand out.
even when he's on the boat with Olive Oil and they're facing down Pappy, he's just standing there. I don't even think he has a line.
He was there.
He's just a
he does.
meme. He's not
He
a
got.
character.
He has the line that he needed to have. It was the one that he said in the cartoon frequently. I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Yeah.
And the fact
I
that
use
he
that with the kids every once in a while, and they goes over their heads.
the fact that he convinced this guy to basically buy him a hamburger by saying, "Hey, it's let me get you a hamburger." He goes, "Okay," and then he basically says he's paying.
Yeah.
2 hamburgers, he's paying.
And he steals a baby. And that's about it.
Yeah, Paul Dooley. He's had far more memorable roles in other things, but I mean, he was Wimpy. I mean,
Yeah.
he did a good
but
job as Wimpy.
Yeah. But again, these were just characters that were literally straight lifts from the cartoon as like even the background characters were all like, look, see, we included these people.
Mm-hmm.
Scatman Carruthers
Like-
as Dick Halloran is definitely a far more memorable character.
Yeah. The lady from the really short lady is in it.
The really short lady?
Yes. She's the shout out Mapes in the 1984 Doom.
Oh, she's in NCIS.
Linda Hunt.
You
She's in
confused
it, and
me.
she's like a member. She's a character from she's Mrs. Oxheart.
Miss Oxheart. She's Oxbloods. Is that what his name?
Yeah. Just a lot of these people were just background characters that would have been in the cartoon, and you would have been like, oh, okay. I recognize that character. Haha, I love the cartoon. I'm glad they included that character. Like, that's why they're in it. Not to be a character, but just to be like a cameo for the character.
Fan
can't I-
service.
Why can't I find the guy that played Oxblood? I'm like rolling through here right now trying to find the name of the guy. And considering he's like the oh, there we go. Ox, that is definitely not him, is it? Peter Bray? Sorry, I'm looking at the current picture that they have for Peter Bray, and that does not look like the guy that got knocked out in that film. Like, he looks far more slight.
Maybe they had him in a suit, like Popeye's forearms.
It's entirely possible, but I mean, do you see the picture that I'm looking at? The one that if you Google Popeye, you see Oxblood, it says Peter Bray. That's why I kept rolling past the picture.
Yeah, I saw it. I thought, well, that doesn't look like him, but I was looking for Dooley.
It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, visually, it doesn't make any sense to me, so it's hurting my brain right now.
You're like, no, can't be him.
No,
He slimmed down.
He slimmed
Been
down.
a
This
while.
guy actually has hair. That's probably what's throwing me. Like, if he had shaved his head, maybe he'd look a little bit more like Oxblood, but like Oxblood looks like freaking King Kong Bundy for the most part. Like, that's what I was kind of expecting a little bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's only like a shot from like the shoulders up, so you really can't tell his size in that picture. But it doesn't look like him at all. Yeah, I don't see any other pictures of him either, which is weird. Like, I was looking, all I'm seeing is an obituary from 2007, which
Oh no.
yeah,
Paul Dooley is still alive and still working.
well, yeah. But
Born in
Oxblood is no longer with
1928.
us. Which
He's
is
almost
strange.
100. He's 96.
So, I don't see anything else with him in it. Movies, he's okay. He has a couple movies that he was in, but like I don't remember him specifically from those movies. All right, I'm going to stop looking up Oxblood. I'll look up more pictures of him later because
You're like, no, why does he look so different?
the picture is hurting my brain. It really is. Like, he looks like mild-mannered, like, accountant type and not like big, hulking, bald boxer dude from the movie.
He was probably really ripped for like one movie, and it was Popeye.
If you remember the scene where he escaped because he was afraid of Bluto, he was wearing like this weird kind of Baby Huey sailor outfit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you know Baby Huey from the old cartoons where it was like this big duck-looking thing with a sailor outfit. It was funny. All right. I don't know where I came up with these other pairings, so please pardon me for trying to ask you.
You were inebriated at the time.
I was. So what I have here is Pappy, Popeye's Poop Deck Pappy, Popeye's dad, versus the old naked lady from the bathtub scene in The Shining.
Well,
wrinkly.
Popeye's mom abandoned him during the middle of a typhoon, so how do we know that isn't his mom?
The old naked lady from the bathtub?
She could have drowned in the typhoon. Came back.
Yeah.
And Pappy's just like,
to
Mammy?
haunt Jack Torrance?
Huh?
To haunt Jack Torrance?
Yes, to haunt Jack Torrance. Why not?
Aren't you Popeye's mom? Jesus. Okay.
Time and space is weird, okay? It could have shown up in the Overlook.
Don't ask me why I'm here. It's
The
same.
Overlook siphons spirits.
Yeah, it's a conduit. Come on.
It's like the holding tank in Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Just sucks ghosts in.
Mm-hmm.
This
I
There's
don't know, I
always
think-
room at the Overlook.
I mean, obviously the dead lady in the bathtub wins because she's already dead. Pappy can't defeat her.
This did make me feel Pappy's performance, Ray Walston, of My Favorite Martian,
Yeah.
did make me feel like they could have pulled off a Popeye movie several years prior to this. Like, when he was a
him as
little bit
Popeye?
younger, he could have been Popeye. Like, they could have done
Yeah.
a live-action film with him,
And then bring him back as Pappy in this one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
right? In
Full
another
circle.
world. In another world.
I love how they each have pictures of each other, and Popeye's just says me and my Pappy, like in handwriting.
It says me, Pappy,
And then he has one that says me and Popeye, just in handwriting. Neither one of them have photos of each other.
it's just a frame with a piece
mean, if
of
you-
cardboard.
If you listen to Robin's like stream of consciousness mumbling that he's doing, some of it is really funny and like really Robin Williams. Like there's one where he's talking about his dad and all the fun stuff they used to do together and how his dad used to throw him up in the air and then
Oh, yeah.
disappear so he wasn't there when he came back down. And he's like, my dad was such a good joker because like he would throw me up in the air and then when he would be gone by the time I came back down.
I am zoned out for just a moment here. I apologize because I saw something that confused the hell out of me. I have to go rewatch Popeye again tonight. So,
Uh-oh.
well, when you're reading a cast list and you realize that there's an actor in there that is semi-famous that I couldn't even pick him out in the movie at all. I didn't know he was in there even after watching it again. Dennis
Who is
Franz, noted as the first male butt on regular television back in NYPD Blue.
Oh.
That was the big controversy for a while, is that he showed his butt on like regular network television.
He's Spike?
He plays Spike in Popeye, apparently.
Well, I think they're in it for like, there might be the ones carrying the piano.
And I think he's one of the guys that Popeye originally fights in the fight scene. There's a little group of thugs.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, when he's like, apologize.
I thought, all I can stands and I can't stands no more. And he just goes about beating everybody up in there.
Yeah, they have a lot of knitwear on. I remember that. Everybody's wearing sweaters.
For a very sunny
like-
and potentially warm seaside community.
Right. Well, they set the one guy on a heater because his butt gets warm, so that must be cold-ish.
And he jumps off. Oh, no,
Yeah.
they set the guy on a heater and it burns his ass, and then he jumps off, and the guy looks at him and he jumps back on.
Yeah, and then later he's standing on it.
So, back to the naked lady who I cannot name for the life of me. I'm talking about the old version when he finally sees her in the mirror, not the thing that gets out of the tub to begin with. That's a weird switcheroo. It's like, oh,
yeah.
Pappy versus whoever that was.
I mean, I'm just gonna go with Pappy. I don't know. I feel like Pappy would bullshit his way through it. He could eat spinach and beat anybody up. I mean, Popeye can literally punch an octopus.
Not just punch an octopus, into the stratosphere, basically.
Yeah. And if we're talking in terms of acting ability, the ghost lady just stands there, and Pappy has like a whole...
She says a couple things, if I'm not mistaken.
You know, I get to the end of that movie, and I can never remember anything but the elevator blood scene, the kid riding the big wheels everywhere, and the, like, typewriter scene where he's supposed to be typing, but he's just doing the Kubrick stare, where he's, like, looking down and looking up at the camera.
What about the twins in the hallway?
Yeah, that part too. And only from Twister, because that's what's on the drive-in movie theater when the tornado...
Oh, for the poster?
Yeah. No, because remember the tornado takes out the drive-in movie theater, and The Shining is playing on the
drive-in movie theater. Okay.
Yeah, it's The Shining that's playing.
I have a picture for...
I'm not as much of a fan of Twister as you are.
I went to go look up the person that does the scene, the bathtub scene, the old woman, and came up with the name of an actress called Billy Gibson, but then when you click on her picture, it shows up a picture of 4 different women that have nothing to do with each other.
Okay, well, you know,
of
maybe
different
it was an actual
ethnicities.
ghost.
Like, literally, it's just like, okay, these 4 women have nothing to do with each other, and 2 of them are black, so I'm not sure they even know who that was. Okay, we have one final matchup here, and that is Bluto versus Danny Torrance and the Creepy Twins from the film.
All 3 of them all at once.
All 3 of them all at once.
Does Danny get to use the finger? Hello, Danny.
Danny's inner monologue. Danny's no longer here. Yes. I was waiting for him to go, only Zool. You know, it's...
Danny's not here right now. The stupid little finger thing. He totally made up for the movie.
Just... I mean, I could have gone the easy way and gone Danny against Sweet Pea.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to suggest if you didn't mention Danny.
I mean, I think that if Popeye punching an octopus scared Bluto, then definitely 2 creepy twins would scare Bluto.
2 creepy twins and visions of slaughter dancing through his head. Jeez.
Yeah. Right. So he's just going to turn yellow and run away again.
And Danny on a big wheel, though, might be a little dangerous out on the docks.
Yeah. Although that one guy has the tricycle motorcycle that he rides around, the tax guy.
That's true. Well, we didn't bring the tax man into this. We have. Are there any other matchups that we can make? Really? Like, can we pit the tax man against
characters.
The bartender?
The Overlook Hotel versus the tax guy.
the bartender versus the tax guy. There you go.
Yeah, the bartender who is the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Versus the tax guy. I think
who is
the
the
tax guy
original?
will win.
The original murderer who he claims the guy that killed his wife and kids. They actually see him in like flashbacks when he's talking to the guy in the bathroom in a
he's
tuxedo.
the bartender.
He was no, I think like a butler or something. There was a bartender, and then there was him. I think he was like a butler or something for the hotel. I can't remember what they said his... maybe a bellhop. I can't remember off the top of my head what they said his role was. But his name was Dilbert Grady, played by Philip Stone.
Off-season bar operation tax, $3.80.
Murder tax.
And then there was Joe Turkel playing Lloyd the bartender. So I'd say we pit the rabbi and the tax man versus Lloyd and the original murderer.
Yeah. I think tax man wins. He just taxes them until they give up under the sheer weight of bureaucracy.
12 cents murdering your family tax. 12 cents per.
Yeah. Every attempt.
15 cents not cleaning your axe tax.
Axe usage tax.
25 cents blood pouring from the elevator tax.
Phantom alcohol tax.
50 cents to clean that carpet tax.
Freezing to death tax. Unauthorized use of the maze tax.
$1.05, I'm getting the fuck out of here tax.
Yeah, no, Taxman wins.
Taxman will just
definitely
keep
the villain of
taxing
Popeye.
everything. I think he'd spend most of his time chasing after Danny and the kids, though.
Yeah, just trying to get more money.
Or Bluto
Curiosity tax.
for tax evasion.
You
Yeah.
wouldn't. I don't think. No, he wouldn't tax Bluto. He never taxes
No,
Bluto.
'cause
That's
Bluto
why
is
transversely he never taxes
Olive oil.
olive oil, because olive oil and him were a thing.
Until they break up, and then he gives them a $121,000 tax bill in back taxes.
And that's when they lose their home, and apparently all the windows in the home too. They even reclaimed the windows, so it's like an open air sea shanty there.
Yeah. What an odd movie Popeye was.
I can
Don't
appreciate.
remember it being that weird.
I still love the little dance that he does at the end, doing the Popeye the Sailor Man song, doing the little Popeye shuffle.
Yeah.
That was
that's
probably my
definitely just
favorite part of the
Robin Williams
movie.
doing his thing.
Well, and then the random cuts to like what appears to be a stunt double
Yeah, acrobatic moves that
doing like the backflips and stuff.
Yeah.
we'll go back. It's
That
like,
was
no,
an
I
interesting
actually did my
choice.
own stunts in that movie. That wasn't a stunt. That wasn't an actor. We cut away because I did fall a few times, broke my nose, but you know, it's
It's Robin Williams, who knows?
It just
He's
lends
fresh off Mork.
authenticity.
He's fresh off Mork and Mindy. He could have been doing his own stunts.
who knows. That's
He
another
thought
show
he
I
was
have to watch
doing his
again.
own
Mork and Mindy
stunts.
was a fantastic
He's
show.
Staring.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, this is like right after Mork and Mindy. This is like his first big movie.
Mork and Mindy and Mork's first show. Do you remember where Mork came from?
I did not.
Mork was originally conceived nearing the
Oh,
end
wasn't
of
he on Happy Days?
Happy Days, yes.
Yeah,
It's basically
he shows up,
Mork
and he
versus the
and the Fonz have the
Fonz.
showdown. Because he does the like thumbs up, and he freezes him, and then like his thumb starts to wiggle, and he like breaks out of the
Yeah.
He's already cool.
yeah.
He can't freeze the Fonz. He's already cool. Which is like the height of Henry Winkler's career right there.
I know he's like 40 playing a teenager, which is just perfect. Like I love it. You can
Outside
do
of
that then.
outside of the bee scene from Little Nicky.
Yeah. God. That whole era of Adam Sandler's
Wow, I'd
career
forgotten
is
about
just
Little
like
Nicky.
a blur.
Come on, Little Nicky was a
fever dream.
great film. It was
I can't go back. Like I can't go back. It's like I got the kids Ace Ventura because in my mind Ace Ventura was so funny, and I put it on for them, and I was like, it was horrifying. It's so bad, and I was like, no, never mind. Like I just took it out. And I got rid of the DVD. And I was
Ace
like, I never
Ventura
watched
was
this again.
something. Like I remember it being hilarious too. And then when I sat down with my daughter and watched the film, and I'm like, there are so many things here that are so wrong. Wow.
Well, it sounds like the next mashup is going to be Ace Ventura versus Little Nicky.
No, because then I'd have to rewatch Ace Ventura, which I flat out refuse to do. Like I can't. Not even for cinematic anarchy. Not even Ace Ventura When Nature Calls. The second one.
I want to do something. I like that I accidentally picked two movies that came out in the same year that were starkly different from each other. I do
Yeah.
like that, so I think that if I do another mashup, I want to do something that's similar.
Near Dark versus Aliens.
That's actually that's what both.
Because you could do Bill Pullman's
Bill
character
Pullman
and Bill
versus Bill
Pullman's
Pullman.
character. You could do everybody's character because I think it's like the cast of the Aliens movie got like lifted and dropped
transported into another movie altogether. Yeah,
into another movie.
into a vampire flick, right?
Yeah.
Well, and we were going to do a Jake Gyllenhaal time travel.
Yeah, but no, the funnier ones.
Yeah.
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 Like what?
That one's not necessarily funny.
Yeah. I'm still lobbying hard for the Rutger Hauer Power Hour.
If we do, I would like to do Jake Gyllenhaal, but two movies that you probably wouldn't pit against each other for any reason. Because one is an absolutely ridiculous, horrible, horrible comedy film, and the other one's Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko versus one of Jake Gyllenhaal's first movies, Bubble Boy.
Ooh,
Bubble
Bubble Boy. I might be down for that.
which is like...
Now you have his attention.
I actually have that movie over here in DVD form on the shelf, and I've never watched it. I watched it like a long time ago, but I have not watched it since I picked it up on DVD.
I think I got it back when Netflix used to send you DVDs.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, I think that's how long ago I watched it.
This is somehow the one you never sent back?
No, I mean, I just don't think I've watched it since. I remember enjoying it more than I thought I would.
It's just flat out goofy. Like,
it's
right up there with...
But it's supposed to be.
What was that weird movie that Carrot Top did? Like, Chairman of the Board or whatever?
Oh my God,
When he played like a businessman. It was basically prop comedy in movie form.
My whole life.
I know. You just triggered some ginger trauma over here. It's like, no, not Carrot Top. No. It's like Pauly Shore.
Look up a picture of that guy. That'll cause some trauma too.
He looks distinctive.
No.
And he's only getting more distinctive over time.
Carrot Top. Oh yeah. Between all the plastic surgery and the steroids, Carrot Top looks interesting.
Vegetative, one might say.
He basically looks like the cat lady on steroids.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's
Carrot
pretty...
Top.
Are you looking at him right now?
Yes.
He's scary looking.
Oh, it's okay to let it go, right? It's okay to change. Wow.
Like, what prompted him to get that kind of surgery that makes you perpetually look surprised for the rest of your life?
It seems like an accident. Like a bad facelift.
He went to... I think him and that woman they call the cat lady went to the same doctor. Like, this is the end product of everybody going to this one guy who just butchered people. Like, I think Meg Ryan got a bad facelift as well at one point.
Yeah.
Like a terrible one.
There was a whole phase there where they were all just getting really bad plastic surgery.
Tara Reid got some terrible plastic surgery.
What's her name? God. She plays with Tom Cruise in You Had Me at Hello. It's Renee Zellweger.
Yep.
She made herself, like, unrecognizable. She's like, I just lost weight, guys. Like, no, that's not.
The only time that I've ever seen, like, I don't see a lot of plastic surgery that ends up looking good on people. One person that did get a decent bit of plastic surgery that made her look perfectly well, but it eliminated the one part of her that would made her recognizable, Jennifer Grey.
Yeah, the nose lady.
The nose job. And it's like, you were actually good looking even with whatever you thought was wrong with your nose.
Yeah, she said a lot of really interesting stuff about that, because she said she went in as an actress and she came out as nobody because, like, nobody recognized her. It removed, like, her one distinctive feature.
So it,
And because she was so popular and then she just disappears.
Because, she was recognizable for this, and this, and then you just look at her now and it's like, the only thing that I can recognize this version of you from is being the whiny person that eventually marries Jennifer Aniston's boyfriend and ex-boyfriend in Friends.
Just bringing it back to Friends.
Oh,
just
of course.
Bringing it back.
Full fucking circle. Well, there's a lot of people that fell into Friends.
I've probably seen 2 episodes of Friends in my entire life.
Well,
so,
have you seen the original episode, the first episode?
No.
You've never seen... Okay,
was there a vampire in it? If the answer is no, the answer is probably no.
Probably no. Phoebe might be a vampire. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It's entire.
I would have watched
quirky,
it.
Very quirky. Who knows? Maybe. Definitely Gunther. Have you ever seen him out in the daylight?
No.
Very pale guy. The entire show. Maybe Gunther was like a vampire just behind the snes. There's a whole thing going on we don't even know.
Listen, I've got a genre, okay? Pretty stuck to it. I've given up hope that I'm ever going to change.
Well, then maybe we do both of the ideas. We do the Bubble Boy versus Donnie Darko, and we do Aliens versus... Because I got to get into Aliens. I want to start reviewing the Aliens films.
Yeah.
But we use that as the segue into reviewing the Alien films, because I want to get into that anyway, but we do Aliens versus Near Dark.
That'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
So those are 2 episodes we can plan for down the road. That being said, we're going to go ahead and roll into the the end credits of what this podcast would be. If you guys want to go ahead and give yourselves a little self-promotion.
All right, we are on break until October for Strange and Beautiful Book Club. But of course, we're on here. So if you miss us, we're on Cinematic Anarchy. But since we're traveling, I didn't want to keep up with trying to record and edit and do everything while we're on the road. So we're just on vacation. But we are going to keep doing the Dead Do Not podcast, which is our new Lex podcast. And we are almost done with season 1, which there's only 4 episodes, so it's not that hard. But we're almost done with season 1 of Lex. And
I was going to say, that's not hard to do.
Working on right now.
The seasons were very short.
The later seasons are not as short, but the first one is 4 movies. 4 hour-and-a-half long movies.
A lot of British television shows tend to be short form to begin with. Their seasons tend to be between like 6 and 12 episodes long at best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one's a Canadian-German production. So,
I'm
even
wrong.
weirder than British.
It's not British. Why did I think this was a BBC thing? Okay, so this is definitely...
Maybe you're thinking like Red Dwarf or something, but this is
It's possible.
very Canadian. Very body horror, a combination of genres I honestly didn't think could go together, and I'm still not convinced they do. But we're having a lot of fun talking
listen
about
to the podcast.
Yeah.
The Dead Do Not podcast. A Lex rewatch.
In characteristic style, I've talked about each episode so long I've had to split them into 2 parts because some of them would have been over 3 hours long.
We had 8 podcast episodes for the first season, where the season had 4 episodes.
Anyway, giving people long-form content is just another service we provide.
Well, I mean, some of the first episodes were like almost movie length, weren't they?
Yeah, they're 90 minutes long. They're 4 90-minute movies. That's the first season.
Before they fall into like regular television-sized episodes.
And then season 2 is 45-minute long episodes.
So, I mean, talking about 90-minute... there's a lot to unpack in most of the Lex episodes to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was one of the reasons why the show was as good as it was, but I think it kind of flies under a lot of people's radars, too. Like, there's some people I know that doesn't know who the hell that is.
It doesn't fit neatly into any kind of box. If you like sci-fi but you don't like horror, you're not going to like it. If you like horror but you don't like sci-fi, it's not your thing.
No.
It's a very, dark comedy, sci-fi, horror, a lot of things. Sex comedy.
That's the thing, is that I think the show, personally for me, I think it lost a lot of people because it was too much all at once, but I personally think it provides a little bit of something for everybody that might want to sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to be ready for a really interesting watch.
It's a ride. It's a ride. Yeah, you got to be ready for the ride.
Is there anything else you guys want to promote? Any other projects?
You can find us on Strange and Beautiful Network on Instagram. That's where I keep most people updated. And I'm probably going to be updating our Patreon with stuff about where we are on vacation. So if you're curious about that, our Patreon is Strange and Beautiful Network. And you can find us there.
And I have no Patreon. I keep trying to sit down and work with my group to get some things up and running. And then it's like, hey, let's sit down 5 o'clock tomorrow. And then 5 o'clock tomorrow comes along, and I've completely forgotten what I was doing, and the person I was working with forgot what they were doing. And I remember why we keep telling people this is an ADHD adult podcast, because here, take 5 people with ADHD, make them mostly remote. So almost all of our recording is remote because, I got one girl that lives out in Salem, Mass, which is like 45 minutes from me. I got another friend that lives down in Georgia. One person that can rarely ever get out of her house. Another guy that lives up in New Hampshire because he's far away because, it's only like a 30-minute drive, but he has a wife and 4 kids that he's taking care of. So that's further away than a half hour.
Yeah.
So trying to get anybody to sit down and do anything, they just get distracted all the time. I get distracted on a continual basis.
It's tough.
And I got distracted from my point, which was to tell people you can find us on most social media networks. We are on Facebook, Instagram, X. We can be listened to on Good Pods, Spotify, all that other fun stuff. Pretty much anywhere that you want to listen to the podcast. We don't have a Patreon, even though We are trying to the best of our ADHD adult abilities, which is not really trying all that hard at all now that I think about it.
It's the trying is invisible to the outside observer.
I am
It's a
attempting
lot
to
of internal
try.
screaming to do the thing.
I'm attempting to
Your
try
body
to
just doesn't
possibly
go
get
on.
around to physically think about maybe starting to eventually get to the part where I may actually get a Patreon up and running. Maybe.
Well, there you go. You started the process. It's just a long process.
So, positive vibes. Keep thinking about it whenever it happens to pop into my head. Maybe one day it'll be, hey, I'm sitting down, you're sitting down, let's get this done, and we'll get it done. And past that, I got to come up with a new tagline so that when Nico is not on the podcast, I'm not just telling people to drink water, you thirsty bitches. Because that's not my tagline. It doesn't feel right coming. It sounds great coming out of her mouth. It doesn't feel right coming from me. So I don't have a tagline right now. We'll just leave on drink water.
You thirsty bitches.
Yeah, drink water, you thirsty bitches. I'm drinking water, or I'm drinking vegetable and leaf soup, basically, right here. A mushroom mocha tea, which is actually not all that bad at all. And before I get into another little tangent, I'm just going to go. Bye.
Until next time, friends.
Bye.
Bye.